Hey everybody, it's Connie again from the Artisan Company. I have decided today to do another short project for you. I decided that I was going to do just a single strand beaded necklace, and I had this absolutely stunning piece of magnesite that they've dyed in a turquoise color. And I thought, wow, that would make a beautiful single strand. So I picked out these turquoise 8.0 size beads, and you can see the turquoise, how much it blends. Oh my goodness. And then I've got these little 11.0 kind of a matte gold color to pull out the brown, kind of brownish color here in the magnesite. So anyway, I am going to get my beading wire together and all the things you'll need, and I'll be right back with you. Tell him, Spit, tell him we're going to work on a project. Tell him we're going to work. See y'all later in a minute. Okay, here we go. So you will need, for this project, you're going to need some fine beading wire, 49 strand if you can get it, because it's the most flexible. So soft flex, AccuFlex, any kind of soft fine beading wire. I'm going to make my necklace 20 inches, so you make yours the length you want it. You will need a clasp, and I'm going to, since this is such a fine tiny beads, I'm going to do a beautiful silver lobster clasp. And what I've done to expedite my time and make it easier for me to handle when I get to the end, I have already added my jump rings on the end of each piece of the clasp. Oh, there we are in the camera. Okay, so I've already added my little jump ring to that side, and I've already added my little jump ring to this side. So that way when I get to the clasp, I don't have to stop and do that. And it gives me a little more of something to hold on to while I'm working, because my hands aren't tiny. You will also need a couple of real small finishing beads. And remember, you got some crimps here, but you need your crimp covers. Don't forget those. Very important. I've got some 8.0 turquoise glass beads, and then I've got some 11.0 itty bitty kind of matte gold brown dirty gold color 11.0 seed beads, and then this is my beautiful magnesite center point. And then you'll need one of these little guys, which is a crimper. You'll need something to cut the excess wire with, and a couple of things to work on your crimps with. Okay, that's where we are. Let me get my beads out and I'll get back with you. Well, this is what I've decided to do. You know me, I'm always changing my mind when I get rolling on something, because my mind's eye will have an idea, and then when I put that idea down and actually physically look at it together, sometimes I go, I need to change that. So what I decided to do is take the gold brownish beads out all together, because I actually strung a few of them first, and I'm moving my light, and the way it looked did not make me happy. It kind of made me go, oh, it kind of took away from the beautiful magnesite piece, and this is the focal piece, so this is what I want people to focus on. So I took the brown beads completely out. It's just going to be all turquoise and this, and so that makes me happy now. Just so you'll know, the magnesite piece did not come with a bail on it. I actually put the bail on, and these are like those little ice pick bails where they have prongs on inside of it, and you just find the size that fits your stone or whatever it is you're trying to put a bail on, and you clamp it down gently because you don't want to crack your piece that you've got in your hand. So anyway, I put that on before I started. And also, I need to make sure that these beads will go through the hole up here on the bail. There's a little hole right there. Flop, like that. So you want to make sure that the beads you're working with do go through this hole. Otherwise, you're going to have to come up with something else in this area that works in conjunction with what you're doing. So anyway, I did that and I'm ready to roll. Now, I started a little group of them here. And this is kind of like using the big eye needle that we did on a project earlier. You know, you just kind of spread your beads out and you just start putting them on there, just like that. It's just so fun and thrilling. It's just, oh my goodness. It can be therapeutic depending on what you got going on, but it's mindless work, so to speak. I'll do a few more here. And you can see that's how I pick them up. Now, I do know that they have tools that will do little small beads like this for you. Like I said in the previous video, this is just kind of how I was taught. And I learned most of my skills on the road. And then when I got off the road, I started perfecting those. And you know, you get to where you can do something really well with a certain technique, and it's not that you can't learn new things, you can, but this just works for me. So you find what works for you and do that. And I've got this mini strong, you can see. All right, now if you'll notice, I had this big huge bunch of strands of beads. So all I did was I singled out one strand like so. I just took one strand out like this and I clipped it down here pretty close to the threads here. And so that way I don't have everything coming unraveled, and they kind of will stay for the most part like this for future use. And since I was only doing one strand anyway, I thought, well, I'll go ahead and just clip one and work with that and see what happens. And if I need more, then I'll add another strand. But it just keeps you from having just tons and thousands of beads everywhere. And you can do this as well. I don't do this real often, but you can if it helps. Take one end of the group of seed beads and take your little thread here, your little beading wire, and you can actually run it down through here already threaded onto this. If I can get this one started, I'll show you. Takes just a second or two to get it rolling. But occasionally you can do it like this too. It works better with really large beads. But you can see I've got the strand of beads and I'm running my beading wire through it while it's still strung. So that's also a way you can do it. Like I said, it's easier with larger beads, but it is a way that you can do that to keep from having beads all over your table. Okay, back to the task at hand. I'll do 2 or 3 more of these. Ah, come on, little guy. Every now and then you'll just have one that just wants to be cantankerous with you. And I just set those little guys aside when they do that. It's like, I'll use you on another day. All right. It's still the same concept as the little big eye needle that's just beautiful when you're using threads and things like that. Oh my goodness, it's such a blessing. All right, I am going to go ahead and string the rest of this, and so you don't get bored watching it, and I'll come back for the finish off. Yep, it's on. I had to make sure I couldn't see it. Anyway, all right, I'm at the end here, and all I got to do now is put on a clasp on the end with my little accent beads. But I was going to tell you earlier, when you're working with these little bitty tiny beads like this, if for some reason you drop the strand that you're working with and it's not clamped off on the end you're working on, or you've got it sitting here on the desk and it's not clamped off, and for some reason it falls, don't try to catch it, just let it fall to the ground and then pick it up. You'll lose less beads that way. I've had that happen to me so many times. Oh my goodness. And that's another reason why I use a rug underneath my chair too, so when beads do fall they don't roll quite as far. So anyway, okay, back to the task at hand. We are going to put on the little accent beads on both sides. They're so tiny little things, and a lot of times because they are tiny, sometimes my hands go, I'm not going to do this today. But all right, so I'm gonna work on one side. I've got all of the beads pulled down where there's no gaps down here in the wire, and I've got it clipped where it won't move around, so there's no gaps. This is on. All right, I'm gonna put my crimp in there like so, and one side of my clasp. Sometimes I have just dead space in my thought. Okay, we're going to pull that down. I don't want to pull it too far. I want to make sure there's enough play right there in the wire that it will be able, the clasp will be able to move around. Don't think that one clamped good. It did not. I had a feeling, because these are not those good crimp, little crimp guys. Stainless steel ones are the best. All right, I'm gonna attempt to fold it. If not, I'll take it off and start over, but I will let you know if I do. Yep, it came off. That's good. That's what I wanted it to do. I'm gonna get a different crimp, so I'll be right back. Okay, I am back in the saddle. I went and got a different kind of crimp, thickness of crimp. Sometimes those little small ones are just not that great. I've got some more on order. They're just not here yet. Okay, so I'm back to the task at hand. I've got my crimp on. I'm going to put the rest of the clasp on there, running that wire back through the crimp, pulling it down, leaving some space here on the end. You don't want to pull your crimp all the way down to your jump ring, because the clasp, it needs room to breathe. Otherwise it will be too tight. So you leave a little space in there. And then I'm going to try to attempt this again. Oh my gosh. To me, this is the hardest part of doing a necklace, are these little crimps. All right. Turn it. There it goes. All right, and before I put my crimp cover on, I'm going to run some of this wire back down through here as much as I can do. Let me try to run a few pieces back in. And there it goes. Right there it is. I'll try to get it to run out if I can. Sometimes I'm able to get the whole entire wire down in there sometimes. And then sometimes I'm not able. So I think I'll probably take it out right there. I can see inside there, I can see the double, oops, wrong one. I can see the double wire in there. So I'm going to take a little tiny pin and I'm pulling it back through like that. And then I'm going to clip the excess left over as close to it as I can. There it goes. And then I run it back in. Okay, last thing is to put your little crimp cover on. You got to make it finished looking. Close it up gently. They look like little Pac-Man. If anybody remembers the Pac-Man game, anybody my age should remember the Pac-Man game. But anyway, oh, don't open on me. All right. Got it. Got it. Got it. And I'm going to open this up right here. Move my magnifying glass out of the way so you can see. And here we are. Here's your finished product. Is that not gorgeous? Not difficult to make at all. It just takes a little patience to do all these little things like this and the little crimps. They just take patience. If you're new at this, just give yourself a little time. Don't worry about it. Practice, practice, practice. If you've been doing it for forever and a day, it's old hat to you, so it's no big deal. But for the newbies that are coming along, just take your time. Don't get frustrated. You know, just roll with it and get into a groove with it. Okay, I'll probably try to have this in the shop on Wednesday. And you guys have a great rest of your week. Bye.